Continue working with the project file from the last lesson, or open the project 12B. Let's reapply the speed change to the clip ending in 5601. Select it, hit Command J, change it to 40%, and add start and end curves. What we just did was add Bezier handles to the speed parameter, which you can see by double-clicking the clip and going to the Motion tab. At the bottom, we have the speed parameter, and to the right, the speed keyframe graph area. Now this doesn't look much like a curve. It looks like a straight line. You might be tempted to think, oh, 40%. That's why the horizontal bar sits just below the halfway mark. But that has nothing to do with it. With the playhead over the clip in the timeline, hit F for match frame. This loads the master clip in the viewer with the same in and out points, but no added speed effects. Drag it to the end of the sequence and double-click on it. Go back to the Motion tab, and you'll see the new version of the clip at 100% has the same line in the exact same place. To understand why, you need to back up a little bit. Well, a lot. Those keyframes on the extreme left and extreme right represent the media start and media end of the clip. The light gray area is the section between the in and out points, the stuff we're using in our sequence. In the timeline, grab the in point of the clip and drag left until the tooltip reads 4 seconds for the new duration. The light gray area widens to reflect the change. The diagonal line represents the rising frame numbers as you move forward in time. From 0 all the way on the left to 707 all the way to the right. So the x-axis is time, which is easy to remember because you have the ruler up above running in that direction. But the y-axis is the frame number inside the clip. You can make constant speed changes by entering a number here, and the sequence ripples. But once you start adding speed keyframes, once you go variable, it won't ripple anymore. So return to 100%, and using Shift-I and Shift-O, set keyframes on the in and out point. Now try changing back to 50%. The keyframe shifts beyond the out point. There's no ripple in the timeline. The clip plays at 50%, but will only see half the action. Hit Command Z to undo. The clip is 707 frames long. Which frames are we using? Mouse over the first keyframe. When you get the crosshair, give a light click. Frame 221. Now do the same over the second keyframe. Remember these numbers, and expand the speed keyframe graph area by dragging vertically here. See what happens if you drag the second keyframe upwards. And move it only vertically, so you see only the 3-digit frame numbers. If you start seeing timecode, you've drifted on the x-axis. Release it at around 400. The duration of the clip is unchanged, but it's going to use 84 more frames in the same amount of time. As the percentage field tells us, it will play faster, nearly 190%. If you're seeing a number less than 100, check your playhead position. It needs to be within the light gray area to read the speed for this section. Play it back. The steeper the angle, the faster it goes. Now drag it down below 316 to around 275. The field updates. 57%. The flatter the angle, the slower it goes. Drag the keyframe to 221, the same frame as the first keyframe. What do you think we'll get? And if it dips lower than 221, it goes backwards. return the keyframe to 316. Go to the middle of the green line, hold the Option key, and click for a new keyframe, and move it straight upwards to about 303. A steep angle followed by a flatter one. The first part should play fast, and the second slower. Drag the middle keyframe to 249 to reverse the effect. Control-click and delete the middle keyframe. 3/4 of the way through, Option-click to create a new one. We've been moving keyframes vertically, but obviously you can get the same effect moving horizontally. Drag the keyframe left until the time code reads -1 second, and release. Play it back. Control-click and select Clear to delete the keyframe. For the ultimate in Control, right-click the remaining keyframes and select Smooth. Take some time to experiment with the Bezier handles and their effect on playback. Remember, steep is fast and flat is slow. And try multiple keyframes with Bezier handles for more complex effects. In the next lesson, we'll learn how to control speed in the timeline.